Suarez. I work with the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Center. I'm in charge of research and innovation. Well, we are part of the humanitarian family. When there's someone in trouble, we try to help. And the Red Cross Red Crescent family in particular cares for the most vulnerable, tries to protect the well-being and the dignity of people. Within this large humanitarian organization, my team, the Climate Center, is mandated with supporting the understanding of what's going on with the climate. It can be about tomorrow's rainfall, it can be about this season's temperatures, it can be about long-term climate change. We help people and organizations to understand and address the humanitarian consequences of climate change as well as extreme weather events. Basically, we're trying to figure out how to link what is known with what is being done. How can we help connect knowledge with action? How can we help connect information with decisions? So a lot of that is just about communication. Some of it is also just going places. So I am based in Boston, I am now here in London to talk with people from university to see how they can align their academic requirements with the humanitarian needs of my colleagues. There are many memorable, really touching moments in one's work life when working with the humanitarian sector. You can see in the eyes of people you work with the joy, the satisfaction of anticipating a better future. There are projects in Ethiopia where we worked with farmers, subsistence farmers, folks who have barely enough to survive. They could understand what was happening in their village in terms of the changing rainfall, the changing patterns of when it starts raining, when it stops, how crops fail. And when they understood what was going on, that it wasn't just some kind of divine punishment or it wasn't just extreme bad luck, but rather our global climate is changing and many people around the world are suffering this, including them. If you know that things are changing, you can do something about it. And that moment, that realization, that aha moment is luminous, is vibrant. You see in people a transformation from being victims of who knows what is going on to being agents of their own life. It's very difficult to stop working because the work involves, on one hand, a lot of satisfaction. It's hugely rewarding to do what we do. With a little bit of effort, a lot can change for good. At the same time, there's an endless demand from the world. There's always someone who could be better if more people did something good about it. So the to-do list is basically infinite. And the motivation to do something is not infinite, but is a lot. When you have a lot to do and a lot of desire to do it, sleeping suffers, eating suffers, family life may become surrounded by demands and so on. So the balance between a very desirable work life and a need to take health seriously and family life peacefully is always demanding. You need brain power. But now the brain power that we need, the talent, is a combination of experience about how the world works, how poverty manifests itself, etc., combined with some analytical skills. It can be about climate science, it can be about finance, it can be about filmmaking, but there's technical skills that the humanitarian sector used to not need. And now the world is changing so much in terms of the climate, urbanization, environmental degradation, volatile politics. We need technical knowledge, we need brain power. We also need people who have huge fire in the belly. We need motivated people. The demands are very, very big, and of course sometimes you can encounter very frustrating moments when people suffer for preventable reasons, when things don't work the way you want them. You need to have that drive, you need to have that desire to keep going. I was a math geek from Argentina. I became an engineer, designing infrastructure. It wasn't exactly exciting. I was looking for something more meaningful, and ended up joining a PhD, becoming a researcher on climate and disasters, and basically funding took me to Zimbabwe, to Southern Africa, to work with farmers. And it was transformational to see how people who are decidedly very smart, who were born in a place where there isn't as much as you can find in London when you talk of rural Southern Africa. Those folks did not have access to information about things that we in the scientific community know, such as El Niño affecting seasonal rainfall, climate change affecting the outlook of which crops are viable, and seeing the value of knowledge that wasn't getting to that last mile where knowledge is most needed is what made me become a humanitarian worker. With a little bit of information, many people can make huge improvements in their lives. The best thing that students can do now to become better capable of joining and contributing to the humanitarian sector is to try to align what they have to do anyways for their schoolwork. It can be a master's thesis, it can be a coursework, it can be a good project, it can be an internship. Align those things that you have to do with things that someone in the humanitarian sector needs. There's a lot of decisions being made that we don't know how to do them. We don't have the information. It can be information about hazards, natural events that can cause trouble, it can be about vulnerability, it can be about technology, it can be about policies. Can you help us know what is going on? If that alignment happens, and to do that you need to engage in conversations with practitioners, with UN System, Red Cross, Oxfam Care, many teams, faith-based entities that would benefit from learning. It involves volunteering that time. We consistently do not have money to give to students, so we cannot beat the private sector, for example, when it comes to internships. But we can help students apply to sources of funding that will give them travel money or stipends and the like. There was a Red Cross project in Mozambique that involved helping farmers understand climate change. And the team needed someone who knew climate science and who spoke Portuguese or something like it. I had both skills and I was invited to go. And I must confess that I was extremely successful at putting people to sleep, because speaking climate science can be confusing and can be boring. And if we, those with the knowledge, talk with the language that is developed by the experts, very smart people who don't know that language are going to lose it, and they're going to be right in thinking that we are wrong. So I would say that the most important skill that I became aware of at the time is the need to communicate, to connect at the human level first. You cannot show up as an expert and start talking your expertise. That creates a gap, creates a distance. I heard a phrase, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Show that you care. As a general rule, the humanitarian sector is consistently going to pay less than, for example, the private sector, and is consistently going to give less job security than, for example, government positions. We need to accept that from the beginning, accept that there will be bumps in the road, there will be uncertainties along the way. There may be a lot of travel involved, there may be a lot of question marks, a lot of new rules that come and go and change, and funding sources that go elsewhere and so on. But learning how to navigate those skills that are specific to the humanitarian sector can be very, very valuable for life.